Katie Cats, and welcome back to another day of Halloween Fest. It's getting closer to Halloween, so I figured it's time to really amp it up and let's bring the scare factor into these videos. And what's scarier than something that's supposedly true? So today's video is the top 10 scary movies based off of true events. So let's get to it. Number 10. The Exorcism. Linda Blair plays a young possessed girl who goes through a traumatic and deadly exorcism in this horror classic. The movie is based off of a book that's inspired by the events of a young boy who was claimed to have been possessed by the devil and underwent an exorcism by the hands of the Catholic Church in the late 1940s. Number 9. The Strangers. A couple vacationing in an isolated summer home are soon terrorized by a trio of masked psychopaths that are out for one thing: murder. This movie isn't based off of just one source. The director cites a series of break-ins in his childhood neighborhood for the basis of the plot, and the infamous Manson killings for the basis of his characters. Number 8. The Zodiac. After a number of mutilated bodies start appearing around the San Francisco area in the 1960s and 70s, a detective played by Jake Gyllenhaal begins an obsession to find the serial killer dubbed the Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer really did exist, and he really was known to send cryptic letters to the police department. What's even scarier is despite how notorious this case has become over the last 40 years, the Zodiac Killer has yet to be caught. Number 7. The Possession. A young girl buys an antique box from a garage sale, and by doing so, she unknowingly unleashes an evil spirit that then puts a curse on her. Her mother and father then set out to find a cure for their daughter's possession. The director himself claims the movie is based off of the story of the Diebach box. According to Jewish folklore, a Diebach is an evil spirit that can possess the living. A few years ago, numerous owners of a box that they had all bought from eBay report strange and paranormal experiences revolving around this box of horrors. So sometimes one man's trash is another man's possessed demon box. Number 6. The Haunting in Connecticut. A family moves into a new home due to their son's illness. Unfortunately for them, they soon discover that their home used to be a mortuary. If that didn't creep you out enough, they soon start experiencing some supernatural events. In 1986, the Senector family of Southington, Connecticut claimed to start experiencing some paranormal things around their new home. Infamous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren began doing some digging on the home's history, and it turns out the house used to be a funeral home where the morticians did acts of necrophilia on the corpses. The duo then wrote a book on the freaky findings of the investigation, and they claimed that the supernatural disturbances didn't stop until an exorcism was performed. Number 5. The Mothman Prophecies. Richard Gere stars as a reporter investigating the urban legend of the Mothman that's said to terrorize the town of Point Pleasant in the late 1960s. The Mothman is said to be a frightfully large winged creature that is said to foreshadow tragedies and bring about death. The movie is based off of the book by the same name by author John Keel. The book recounts Keel's own investigations of the Mothman in the late 1960s. He combines different investigations with his own of the mysterious winged creature and other supernatural instances that happened around the town. On a side note, I had watched this movie on a camping trip when I was about 10. Let's just say for a while afterwards, I was claiming to see things in the trees. Number 4. The Conjuring. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga star as a famous paranormal investigating duo that is called in by a family that starts experiencing some spooky paranormal things around their new home. The duo in this movie is based off the real paranormal investigating duo Ed and Lorraine Warren. The movie is based off the Perron family case. The family's house was said to be haunted by the evil spirit of the witch Bathsheba Sheeran, who is said to have lived in the house long ago. Number 3. The Amityville Horror. The Lutz family moves into the seemingly perfect new home in Amityville Horror to have a fresh start. Unfortunately for them, something horrendous is hiding in the basement. This one gets a little confusing, so I'm going to do my best to sum this up as best as I can. The movie claims it's based off the real experiences of the Lutz family, but it turns out that was all just a marketing gimmick by the movie producers. They hired the Lutz family to move in there just so they'd have documentation that the Lutz family really lived there and give merit to their claims. But there really was some scary things that happened in this house to spark interest in the movie anyways. In 1974, Ronald Joseph DeFeo lived in the Amityville house, and that is where he murdered his parents and his 4 other siblings while they slept. So what the movie claims is real isn't, but there really was a mass murder that happened in this house. Number 2. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. The movie revolves around the courtroom proceedings of a priest on trial for the death of a young woman played by Jennifer Carpenter, who he had performed an exorcism on. The priest performed an exorcism on this young woman, and it resulted in her death. The movie shows flashbacks of the hellish things that happened before and during the exorcism. Even though there's pictures of her during the exorcism all over Google, I'm not going to be showing any pictures of her out of respect to the deceased. This film is based off the alleged demonic possession and exorcism of a 23-year-old German girl. In 1975, 2 priests performed a 10-month-long exorcism that resulted in her death of malnutrition and dehydration. In reality, 4 people in total were charged and convicted of negligent homicide, including her parents. Coming in at number 1, An American Haunting. Set in 1818, the movie follows the experiences of the Bell family with a supernatural entity. It's the only case in U.S. history where a spirit is said to have caused a man's death. The movie is based off the legend of the Bell Witch that can be traced back to Tennessee in the 1800s. According to legend, John Bell was poisoned to death by a ghost. Freaky enough, his death is actually documented as being caused by a ghost, the only case in all of America where that is the cause of death. Everything from a witch can kill you to a box that can possess you. We've covered a lot of scary stuff today, and it's gonna be a little hard to sleep tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching another day of Halloween Fest. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to share this video on any and all social media sites. Also, if you're not yet a Katy Cat and would like to become a Katy Cat, who's become a Katy Cat? Hit the subscribe button to see more videos. Bye!